Welcome to the StockMentor.com studios here in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm your stock mentor, Brian Johnson. I'm making professional trading simple. And everybody is awaiting Apple earnings to see what would happen. The futures are kind of bouncing around right now. We'll have to wait and see what happens here later in the broadcast to see if those are released. So I will let you know if I see something pop there. In the meantime, let's get into the markets. Sonia, if you haven't yet, give me a call. Promise I'll be nice. I'm not going to bite you. Just going to take a couple minutes of your time. So if you get a chance, please, 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 give me a quick call. I'll only keep you a couple minutes. I really just got a couple really quick questions, in all honesty, for you. And then you can do what you will. Anyway, thanks, Sonia. Hope you get this. Talk to you soon. In the markets today, you can see at the end of the day, actually at the beginning of the day, I thought we might get a gap down. We had been kind of hiding behind this little lower trend line as of last Friday. And last night, I saw that the futures were down, but they didn't hold overnight. So market brought it back up and actually rallied into today's action. So you can see it run back up, break this high up here, and run right up to this 10,117-ish area and just hold like the rest of the day. So we were like 1, 2, 3, 4 hours sideways. Not much to do after, the first couple hours of trading, but it did manage to get up above this trend line, and for all practical purposes, it held above this trend line. You can see here where at the end of the day it did have a little bit of a drop, but it didn't last very long, and it wasn't a very hard push necessarily to the downside. Futures are moving a little bit in the after hours, but that can change very quickly once Apple reports. But you can see it ended up right here at this support area. So good strength shown by the bulls to get back up and over this trend line and to hold here. Now it's a matter of can they actually keep it there. The momentum has slowly been kind of working its way out of the market, but I will have new trend lines for you. Actually, I can draw one in here if you want to hold on 2 seconds. All right, so in addition to this break of this line, we will then be watching this line next for support, which is probably going to be pretty close and coincide with this 20-period moving average. Pretty common. But first we have to get, back below. The bulls are they're really having a good run right now, and they are continuing to put it to the bears. So you've just got to stay on the right side of the trade, and the right side of the trade at this time is just stay long. Or to keep looking for long entries. The one caveat to that is some of the equities I've been following really aren't moving a whole lot. Even though the markets are, some of the equities aren't. So to find out where the strength is and kind of follow it as you proceed further. But you can see that if you take this blue line, and I should have done it, I didn't, but if I take this blue line and copy it and kind of paste it right here, I can get kind of a channel, and that is the new channel that we're in, and we are looking and waiting for a break here of this one, take us down to this one, and see if that holds next. We had a target on this head and shoulders here, and it's already been met. This larger one that I had here above it is right around the 10,225 to 10,250 area. So that might be the next point of bigger resistance to be watching if this thing turns around and starts to head upwards. If we go to a Dow on a daily, you can see here we are, though, right at now the top of this channel. On the Dow, which is usually the laggard and is no exception here, you can see that it's doing what some of the other indices, and that's run up, move sideways, and run up again. It is now at the top of its channel line, but if I skip ahead, kind of look at the daily on the SPX, you can see that, well, it's pretty much doing the same thing. I thought maybe it would be just barely above this, but you know what? For all practical purposes, it's right on it. So it is still a little bit stronger than what we're seeing in the Dow. The Dow is just below its channel line. The SPX is right on it or just above. So not much of a difference in the indices from one to another on where they are within this bigger channel that they're all following. So be watching this for resistance now up in this area. And that's not to say it won't do this. See how this kind of hit it and then followed it up for a while before getting kind of a fake breakout and then broke down. This did the same thing, hit it the first time, stayed up there for a few days. This was about a week long. Be looking for that same type of action here. Why not? Look for this to maybe come up and hit If it doesn't break up and over, look for it to stay right below it for a few days, and then maybe pull back if it can't break this ultimately. But this is a very strong run by the bulls to get all the way back up here to the top of this channel line. So now we'll be looking for a pullback here. NDX doing the same type of thing today, looking like a pullback right here on the daily. I'll bring this in a little bit. So a little pullback here on the NASDAQ, and moving forward again, moving upwards, looking at this dotted line to hold now as resistance again on this next push up, and then maybe this next time it touches it, maybe we get a maybe it rolls over at that point. But really, you just got to play what you're given, and that's everything is still moving strong to the upside. The weekly, we're only a day into it, not real concerned, but still very bullish if you look at just that one look. SPX on a 60 had this trend line drawn on this one. Now on the Dow, you can see we were under it and tapping it from underneath. On the SPX, we were sitting right on top of it. And sure enough, it continued to act as support as it just pushed up higher today. I made mention way back, and I don't know what it was back in here somewhere, that a push above 1075 takes us to 1080, and then a push above 1085 takes us to the 1100 area. Or to 1100 or to the 1100 area. Some might front run it, and then we saw precisely that. We broke the 1085 area on this move right here. It ran up close to, I think it was about 1096 right here. A lot of people got to front running that 1100 area. We saw the pullback, but it wasn't enough to scare the bulls away, and they managed to bring it all the way back up and actually touch the 1100 area. So it worked out precisely as I had been discussing with you back in this area. And that was a run up past 1085, a front run of the 1100 area, a pullback, and then a move to the 1100 area, which is where we're sitting now. Very strong action to still continue to see it consolidating sideways right at 1100. I'm sure awaiting Apple earnings maybe and other earnings as well, but with this consolidation towards the top here, easy to think that maybe we get a push through 1100. It didn't hit and retreat. It's not like it smacked 1100 and then pulled back hard like it did over here at the 1096 area. It stayed right up there. So I don't think this is as scary to people as scary to some people as it is to others, where they're thinking, oh, the big 1100 number. You know what? I even mentioned in one of my previous videos, I wouldn't be surprised if it hit 1100 and kind of moved right past it, maybe pause there, but didn't like a huge pullback. A lot of times it just doesn't work that way. I don't think it worked that way with 1000 when we came up on 1000 either. I don't think it was this massive pullback from 1000 when we got to it. So 1100 could work the same way. Next target after that would be somewhere between maybe 1105 and 1110 area. I'd be looking for some resistance in that area. SPX on a daily, right at this channel, looking at maybe this dotted line for potential, just potential resistance past this. This is totally hypothetical on my part. I really don't have enough information to, make this a firm trend line, this dotted one, but a hypothetical one at least gives us an idea of where we could be looking to for the next move. As you can see here, move up, consolidate sideways, still in this consolidation to the sideways. Very bullish in the same way that we've seen all this action here where it pulls up and then moves sideways, pulls up and moves sideways. These have all resolved down, but until I am shown otherwise, these consolidations are a high base and they are bullish. So keep your bias that direction. Still in this rising wedge. Monday, not too worried about that. VIX on a daily.